Hi everyone, and here we are in the topic of responsible AI for end user. I believe that nowadays we are all considered as end user of the AI as well. So we will focus on what it means to use AI responsibly from a user perspective. As we believe that AI is transforming the way we work, the way we do, and the way we live. So with this great power, it comes with great responsibilities. So as user, we have choice to make. So from the end user consideration, what kind of the aspect that we need to take into account? So in first one, the security and privacy. We need to ensure that we protect the data and understand what information that AI system need to use. And also we need to keep in mind that those data need to be highly secure. The second point is on the trust and qualities. So don't blindly trust the output. Believe that we need to always validate the output of the AI. Validate the results and be aware of the limitation. For example, not all AI provide 100% of accuracy. So they can come with the limitations, for example, bias and also unfair or hallucinations. The last one is on fairness and ethics. So we have to use AI ethically. For example, avoid harmful prompt. So we need to take into account how we craft the prompt in such a way that AI can do their best. And we need to ensure inclusively in the interaction that we have with the AI. Responsible isn't just about the technology, it's about behavioral and also the awareness. So with this, we have some of the example of case study. Here is the real world one that happened in 2024. So it's highlight why security and privacy matter. Scammer use deepfake technology, as you can see in the screen. So they used it to impersonate a CFO during the online meeting. This deception led to fraudulent transactions worth over 896 million baht. You can see that the dollar amount is quite high. The attacker exploit trust in the video and also asked for the approval of that money. So after it detected that it's got fraudulent, so those transactions has already been complete. So the key takeaway from this one is the first thing, we need to verify and also any urgent tasks that we need to get approved right away. Please keep in mind that we need to check and validate whether that is the real ask from the real person or is the scammer. The second one, employee and training and awareness. We believe that all of the employee right now, they have involved with any form of the AI. So we need to keep educate and train them to recognize the sign of deepfake as well as the social engineering attack as well. The third one is immediate escalation. When we found that we are in risk of scammer or in risk is in the suspicious content or the action, so we need to immediate report that case to prevent kind of like financial and reputational check. The next sample, we have seen how deepfake scam highlight the importance of security. Now let's talk about the practical step that we can do in order to protect our data when using the AI. The first one, for Microsoft 365 user, we can apply the sensitivity label. For example, here we can see there is non-business, public, general, confidential and highly confidential. We need to select the sensitivity label to apply to all of the files and folders at the proper selection. This will help us to maintain security and prevent accidental exposure. For example, some of the files that has been classified as highly confidential, by mistake you just send that file out of your organizations. The recipient will not be able to access to the files because it has labels as highly confidential. This helps to prevent accidental exposure. The second is on compliance and transparency. We can use Microsoft Trust Center to provide clear guidance on how data is handled securely when you share data with the AI, including like application. The last one, we have to always choose the right product. As we can see in most of the product right now, they have the choice for the user to select whether that AI usage is more on the organizations or more on the personal use. So we have to classify that what action that we need. For example, we can use the enterprise grade copilot for work related but not the personal one. So this one is highlight that AI system is rely on the data in order to function well. If we use the data that is not clean, data is not has the high quality, so it will also impact the accuracy and also the performance of the AI. So no data with no AI without data. And to ensure that there is also the ask on how is the data is protected. Will the data also used for the training foundation models. So here is a statement that we have been ensured. So your data is always your data. Microsoft wouldn't use the data to train the foundational data. No AI without data. Hence, AI system is relying on data to function. So data is remain yours. Microsoft ensure that your data is still managed and also wouldn't use for fine-tune any foundational models. And your data always protected by most comprehensive enterprise compliance and standard security. So what is existing privacy commitment applied to AI from Microsoft point of view? We will keep your organization data private. Your data is in control of your organizational data. For example, you might have robust access control, column level security, those kind of things still valid when it's used with the AI. Your access control enterprise policy are maintained, and data is not shared across the organization. Even inside of the organization, you can still set the access control across all the data. And it's protected by design, which means that privacy and security are built into our solution. So we never use your data to train the foundation models without your explicit permission. And that is the way we commit with the privacy commitment applied to AI. So another example is showing how Microsoft also continuously improves the quality of the AI. So on the left, you can see an earlier version of Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. It provides unclear response to the user query. But on the right-hand side, the latest version delivers a much more accurate and structured answer, including context and relevant details. So the key takeaway from this one, AI system continue to evolve, and also we kind of like improve accuracy and clarity along the way. Users should still validate the output and also understand the limitation that it might have hallucinations, might have bias into the output as well. The trust is built to transparency and continuous improvement. Hence, when you use the AI, keep in mind that you can ask it how the output got processed, what is the thought process of it. So that is the way to get clarified and another way to validate the output of the AI. So this is also another case. There is a legal case where lawyers rely on the ChatGPT generated content without the verifications. The AI instead it produce fabricated case reference, or we can say that it is hallucinate, which led to a serious professional consequence. And this highlights the risk of over-reliance. Even though we need to keep in mind that AI is good, it helps us to achieve so many things. But sometimes if it got us the wrong output or not in accurate output, so we need to know and validate. On the right hand side, this is another example from Air Canada. A customer were kind of misinformed by AI chatbot that provided by the company about the bereavement fare eligibilities. So when the airline refused to honor the incorrect information, the tribunals rules against Air Canada and resulting in financial and reputational damage. So we wouldn't expect to have this in our organization if we kind of like educate all of the employee, the developer, the way to use AI responsibly. So the key takeaway from this one, AI error can lead to real-world consequences, including legal, financial, and also reputational. We need to always validate the output and not rely on it 100%. Another case on fairness and ethics. So in this example, it illustrates that how bias can appear in AI-generated output, right? When we ask it to create the employees and executive, the system produces a result that reflects the stereotypical assumption. For example, AI can inherit the bias from the trained data. It might perceive that for some occupation, the representative of that occupation should be men, or some career should be female. So in that sense, we need to also take into account that AI models can have the inherent bias. Fairness means actively mitigating that kind of the bias and ensure that the result is also inclusive in AI output. So in summary, what is the AI end user recommendation? The first one is use citation only prompt. Here we need to also include that when answering the questions or the asks we put in the prompt, please also include the citation. So the reason why we ask to include that, because we can always verify that citation, whether it exists or whether it's still up to date or whether those information is correct. The third one is we disclose AI assistant in our work. If AI contribute to your work, you need to be transparent and also disclosure to build trust and also avoid ethical concern of using AI. The last one, in business process, the very important one, we will have to always put human as a co-pilot in the loop. So for example, here we have the user with generative AI. We incorporate those kind of the data. And once we simplify and get the output, we need to keep human in the loop for the business making decision. So just to give some example in the business case, for example, if we have AI embedded into the humans as a reviewer for HR employee onboarding process. Here is list of the tasks that we have for this process, like initial background check, review and finalize the employment contract, and set up Office M365 and so on. So across those 6 tasks, there is one process that we identify that we need human to review. So that is the second process, to review and finalize the employment contract. Because we feel that for this one, if there is a mistake or there is some information that's not correct, it will impact the whole process. So that is why we flag yes in the require humans reviewer. This helps to prevent the problem that might incur when the AI is not performed as we expected. As an end user, your action really matter. So protecting data, verifying in output and input, and also using AI ethically is essential step to build the success of the trust of AI application and as well as to avoid the harm. Responsible AI starts with the informed behavior and transparency. You can make notes, also like make the kind of like notes that how the AI got processed. Those kind of data will processed by AI with human in the loop. So I think this will help as an end user to use AI responsibly.